So first of all, the company Snaptic is based on two words. Snap is capturing information, and synaptic means connected. And we're building applications that help you capture and connect the information that's important to you. And we're pretty big on Android with, by the end of the day today or tomorrow morning, we'll have 2 million active installs on Android among our 3 apps, which are the top ones in geotagging and personal notes. We're also on iPhone on the web, and everything syncs to the cloud. So we all know that our brain's processing capacity starts to diminish over time. And this is the South by Southwest audience. You guys are all up here for the most part. This is me. So this is what you have to look forward to. And what do you do if you're me? You're starting to get a little bit further down this curve in terms of the processing capacity of the brain. Well, the first thing is you want to work with a lot of people in the upper left quadrant. You want to work with really smart people. And the second thing is you want to work on problems that are trying to do this. Can we use technology to change the slope of this curve? Can we use technology to be smarter? At least until this happens. So it's called squaring the curve. So the other reason why it's more important than ever to figure out how do we use technology to be smarter, this is something that's called the Twitter curve on a Passionate blog from a couple of years ago. The time between interruptions with new information. We've already passed the brain thrashing threshold, and the time between interruptions is now approaching 0, and we're all screwed. This is sort of meant to be the information overload slide, where there's too much real-time information and that's somehow bad. Well, I don't think that's actually the problem set at all. I mean, I think having tons of real-time information is really exciting. Things that are important to you. Most of the information that we're being bombarded with is stuff that's important to somebody else, and the things that matter the most to you end up being lost. So here's my little example from a couple of weeks ago. I went snowboarding up in Tahoe, and on the way we found this great little hole-in-the-wall Thai place with this hippie guy who had this amazing little hole-in-the-wall restaurant, and 5 on his 10-point spicy scale was already off the chart. So, this is typical kind of thing, happens, every day. I want to remember this. I want this to be part of my, this is part of my experience. I want to keep it. I don't want to forget it, and I want to go back. So, what happens to that, and the 100 other things that happen every week, the things that are important to you? Where does it go? Does it go here? This is where it goes sometimes for me. More often, it goes here. So, what happens at web scale? With the way we treat information right now? Well, this is what it looks like at web scale. If you remember this scene from Indiana Jones, the Egyptians could hide, the treasures for thousands of years until Indiana Jones finds it, but that's nothing like putting it into government archives. This is what our information systems look like, and this is how we've modeled the information of the world. And it's really not the right way to do things, in our opinion. So our question was this. How would the brain do it? What's the organic model for information? How is the brain structured? We know that the brain is a network. We've known this for over 50 years. There are no rows and columns and tables, and there are no folders in our brain. It's a network where the links keep evolving as we learn more and we build more connections. It's a very different way of structuring information. And we said, well, we're going to do that with your personal notes. So there's Dave from Dave's Thai in Auburn, California. But it's automatically linked to locations and recipes and restaurants and travel and snowboarding and various other kinds of things that are associated with it. And we want that to be automatic. So this is also the way the Android ecosystem works. And this is what's different. You heard a presentation on iPhone, and it's amazing what you can do on these platforms. But on iPhone, developers are generally working alone by themselves, building their own apps and pushing them out to the market. On Android, it's a different model. On Android, there's a lot of open source out there already. People are building on top of that. But people are also using a unique structure of Android to call functions out of each other's applications, to link their applications together. And what this means is you can focus on something that you specialize in and do it very well, and then make your app a mashup of all kinds of other specialist features from other people's applications. And so everything is kind of knitted together into a network, which I think is very interesting. And what we've specialized in is notes. How do we capture the things that are important to us and have it be linked together? Here's our little corner of the Android ecosystem, just for illustration, some of the developers that we've been working with. So this is the top recipes app on Android, and Bo Durand, who developed it, up in northern Canada someplace, and it's integrated in a way so if you find a recipe you want and you want to make it into a shopping list, one button, it's in your notebook, and you can add your own photos to it about how it turned out. I use this kind of thing all the time. Another very similar app, Wayne McFadden, 10,001 Cocktails, from down in Santa Cruz. What was the top dictionary app until a really huge company went into the market, and now they're sort of neck and neck, is Free Dictionary. Solo developer in Turkey, doing really well with this app, and now he has to differentiate from the dictionary.com app out there. So he integrated with Notes in order to make things like my word list, my vocabulary list, and now he's building quizzes and all these vocabulary tools to do it. Solo developer, massive application, hundreds of thousands of people on Android using it every day, and just an individual in Turkey doing it. So this is the guy that had a license from BBC News. He used the BBC News feed, same kind of story. Jim Blackler, fantastic app, beautiful app. So this is a Russian programmer, moved to Boston, Max Bitchdock. One of the most successful, most popular apps on Android is a horoscope that is just uncanny in how accurate it is. I mean, for at least half the people, it is dead on, and for half, they install it. But for half the people, he's got half the people on Android with this. Here are a couple of brothers from Turkey who've been doing comic apps on Android. They have 26 apps in the app market. They're just cranking them out. Their users were saying, hey, I want to be able to save these and bookmark them. So, one click, you can do that now, and their app is richer for it. This guy just launched an app. He had the tip calculator. Got two things I want to do with this information. It's like somebody owes me money, so I want to remember that. Or maybe it's I want to put it in my expense report. So, one click, and now it's synced to the web and all of that. He made this very, very popular app called Pixay, where you can take your pictures and make them look goofy. And again, it's sort of linked into your notebook, but also to Facebook and all kinds of other things. Huge amount of functionality with extraordinarily little effort to do it in a very, very big popular app. So how are all these apps connecting? How are people able to make much richer, more interesting apps? So now I'm going to go to show you the code. So this is the synapse. This is the Android synapse. Okay, it's 3 lines of code. Declare your intention, load it up with content, and pull the trigger. That's all it is to integrate one application from another to another and make your app a mashup of much more powerful functionality. And if you go to GitHub, you're going to be able to find on our site, you're going to be able to find open source projects and source code and documentation for how to do this, and more people are going to be doing open source projects on the model. The synapse with the cloud, it's sort of equally simple. It's a RESTful API. Very, very simple way of getting information, posting information, linking things together. And you can also find examples of that, a growing list of examples on GitHub. And we're hosting a developer conference, and actually our keynote speaker is Martin Mikos, who was the CEO of MySQL for a long time. There he is right there. He's going to be talking at the conference, and he's going to be there, and we have a number of other people that are going to be talking about how to develop things, and we'll have hack day and contests and all of that.
Where is it?
It's going to be in San Francisco.